If you'd like to work along with me at home, open the Project Files folder, Lesson 3 folder, and then Insert Function. So far in our lessons together, we've talked about two ways to put functions inside of formulas in a cell. We said we could type them in, or we could use the autocomplete feature to get some help to put them in. But now we're going to take a look at the king of all ways of putting a function inside of a formula inside of a cell. And you can get to it a couple of different ways. You can go to the Insert Function button right off of the Formula bar. You can go to the Formulas tab of the ribbon and click the big old Insert Function button. Or you can use the keyboard shortcut Shift F3. So now that we know how to get to it, now we have to ask the question, why do we care? What's it good for? Well, it's actually one of the best tools you'll ever find to help you figure out how to work with functions. The Insert Function dialog box is designed to do two things. First, to help you find the function that you're looking for, even if you don't know its name. And secondly, to help you put the arguments inside the function. Now, to demonstrate this, we have this worksheet here where we want to create one single date out of the three different parts of a date. Here we have a year, a month, and a day. We want to cobble these together into a single date in the yellow cell here. We may not know the name of the function to do this, and we certainly don't know how to put it together by typing it in. Well, that's where the Insert Function button comes in. It's going to help us do all of those things. So we'll click the Insert Function button in the ribbon, and then we're going to go a-searchin' for the function that we need. Now, if we don't know its name, we can type in a brief description in the box at the top to tell Excel what we're looking for. Create date. We'll click Go, and Excel tries to match your criteria with what it knows about all the functions that are available in Excel. You get quite a big list here sometimes, so if you can't narrow it down by retyping a more specific search criteria, then you can just start reading the description. Each time you click on a function, the description of that function will show up down here at the bottom. The date function, for example, returns the number that represents the date in Microsoft Excel date time code. Turns out that that's exactly what we're looking for, so we're just going to click OK. This then takes us to the second part, the function arguments. And here's where you get help in putting the function arguments into the formula. The arguments, as you may recall, are what Excel needs to know in order to do the job that the function is asking it to do. Now, the date function needs to know three things in order to do its job. It needs to have a number to use for the year, a number to use for the month, and a number to use for the day. Now, if you're not sure what one of these function arguments are calling for, Excel tells you down below. Here it says, year is a number from 1900 to 9999 in Microsoft Excel for Windows, and then it goes on to tell you what to do with Macintosh. 1900, by the way, is the first year that Excel knows how to work with. So it's looking for a number. It turns out we have a beautiful number right here. We're just going to click on cell B3, and then we'll go down to the month argument. What's the month argument? Well, we'll read the description down below. Month is a number from 1 to 12, representing the month of the year. Now, we could simply just type a number in here, but since we intend to use this same formula multiple times in all these yellow cells, we're using the cell reference instead. So we're just going to go out and click right on the 6 there, and that puts in a C3. The day, let's read the description. Day is a number from 1 to 31, representing the day of the month. Well, that would be this guy right here, D3. We'll click OK, and sure enough, there's our date. Now all we have to do is use the fill handle to copy this formula down to the other cells. Double click, and there we go. One of the things I really like about the Insert Function box is that you can always revisit it even after you've created a formula. Here in cell E3 we have the date formula we just created, and if I want to get back into it and edit it, I can just click the Insert Function button again, which takes me right back into the function arguments with all the arguments I've previously filled in. Let's look at another way to use the Insert Function button to go a-searchin' for a function that we want. I'm just going to cancel out of here, and we're going to get rid of all these formulas. Just select them and hit delete on the keyboard, and start in this top yellow cell. And once again, we're going to hit Insert Function. I'll use the keyboard shortcut this time, Shift F3. And now we're going to search by category. So now I'll go over here and click the drop-down arrow in the category list and see if we can't find a category that might have anything to do with working with dates. And sure enough, there's the date and time category. When you choose that, it shows you all the date and time functions. Once again, the date function comes up right at the top. And at this point, you can just click OK and go forward at that point. Just repeating the steps before, we need this here. The month is going to be C3 and the day is going to be D3. Click OK, double click the fill handle, and once again we have formulas aplenty. Now this would be a good time to take a better look at the function library. We mentioned this a couple of videos ago, but now since we're talking about the insert function box, this is a good time to see how to use the function library. Let's once again delete all the formulas that we placed in the LSLs, and here we are in the Formulas tab, the function library group, and here you can see that the function library is broken up into categories. Here's the date and time category, and guess what? When you click that drop down arrow, it shows you all of the functions that have anything to do with date and time. And there's our old friend, the date function right there. When you click on it, don't you know that it opens the function arguments? So there it is, yet a fourth way to get to the function arguments dialog box. I think the function library is a very convenient improvement over previous versions of Excel. Remember, if you wanted to see things by category before, you'd actually have to go to the insert function box and then search for category right here. You actually have to click on one of the functions in order to read its description below. But here in the function library, when you click on one of the categories and then hover over one of these guys, you get a little extended screen tip that tells you exactly what that function does. No real clicking necessary. All you have to do is hover. When you find the one you're looking for, just click on it, and now you're into the function arguments. And I'd like to say that's all there is to it. But there is one more thing I'd like to show you here. Because this is such a common thing to do, we're going to take all the formulas that we've just created here and we're going to convert them to the values that those formulas display. And here's why we'd want to do that. We have beautiful looking dates right here. But these dates are dependent on the three cells to the left of them to bring back the dates that they're displaying. If you look in the formula bar, you can see the formula right there. What happens if we remove these numbers that these formulas depend on? Well, let's take a look. If we delete these three columns, now the formula doesn't have anything to go on, so it can't find the cell references that we've referred to in the formulas. Now let me undo that to put those guys back in. The way we work around this so that we can delete columns B, C, and D is to strip the formula off of these yellow cells and replace it with the value that the formula represents. To do that, we'll right-click and choose Copy, and then just paste our copy over top of the formulas. We'll need the paste options to do this, and we're looking for the Values option. Choose that, and now when you click on a cell and look in the formula bar, you'll see the formula is gone and has been replaced with the value that that formula represented. Now I can say, that's all there is to it.